We're going to walk through a day in the life of a new customer with Webex, with a particular emphasis on Webex calling. We will go through a complete customer lifecycle, including creating a customer, setting up the customer, obtaining and configuring numbers, configuring location features, adding users, assigning devices, installing and using the unified client, and viewing analytics and diagnostics. To start, we're going to create a customer. Webex Control Hub, accessible at admin.webex.com, is the single pane of glass for administering all Webex products, including Webex Calling. For Acme Electronics, I'm going to log into Control Hub and start a new trial for Acme Electronics. I'm going to create a new customer with Webex Meetings, Webex Teams, and Webex Calling. I'm also going to license Webex Room devices so I can maximize their Webex experience. Within 60 seconds, I've now created the trial customer. Emails have been sent out to the trial administrator welcoming him or her to the new service. In our next step, I'm going to log into the customer view, that is, the Acme Electronics view of Control Hub, and at initial login, I am presented with a Customer First Time Setup Wizard. The key information I need to enter in the First Time Setup Wizard is my address for emergency purposes, as well as the location of Acme Electronics. Location is a key concept in Webex Calling. This is where I can assign location features, like an auto attendant, as well as assign users to groups within an enterprise. While I can create as many locations as I want, the First Time Setup Wizard creates my first location. Now that I'm set up with my initial location, I'm ready to obtain and configure numbers. While Acme Electronics can use extension-only dialing for on-net calling, the numbers portion of Control Hub will allow Acme Electronics to set up a public switch telephone number, or PSTN number. By going to Services, I see all of my Webex services and a specific card for Webex calling locations. At my first location, I have a choice of assigning a local gateway or a cloud-connected PSTN provider. The local gateway gives an enterprise maximum flexibility for assigning numbers. The far quicker option is to deploy a cloud-connected PSTN provider, a third-party Cisco partner that can provide cloud-based numbers. Let's go ahead and set this up with IntelliPeer, one of Cisco's cloud-based PSTN providers. Now I'd like to add numbers to my location. I again go to Services, but this time I'll select Numbers. The Numbers experience allows me to bulk load numbers through a comma-separated list of numbers. Through the Numbers experience, I've added 100 numbers, to which the employees at this particular Acme Electronics can be assigned. I can also assign these numbers to a location feature, like an auto attendant. Now that I've set up my numbers, let's configure the calling services for our location. Going back to the Services menu, I'm going to select Features. As you can see, this tab view provides access to Acme Electronics to create and configure auto attendants, hunt groups, call queues, and several other location features within the organization. With numbers added and any location features configured, let's get started with adding users. We can add users individually or configure the service to synchronize with an Active Directory. But for Acme Electronics, let's do a bulk upload of 100 users. To do that, I have prepared and appropriately formatted a user onboarding CSV file, which contains the names and email addresses of those 100 users. So let's see what it looks like to onboard them. I select my CSV file, and the onboarding has begun. And that's it. The system lets me know that one of the users had an issue, but we've successfully added 99 users. I've assigned each user a default extension. Each of these 99 users would have received an email welcoming them to their new service. As part of the welcome email, each user will have a download link to the Webex Teams client. Webex Calling also supports on-net and PSTN calling from Cisco IP phones and Cisco Room devices. Let's step through adding a device to an Acme Electronics user. From Devices, I select Add a Device. I have a choice to assign this to a place, like a front office or sales department, or to an existing user. I'm going to assign this to John Doe, the first user I uploaded from my CSV. The device onboarding is a simple process. Upon entering my device model, I receive an activation code through Control Hub. I input that activation code into my Webex calling room device or IP phone. And I'm up and running. Control Hub provides access to the newly added device directly through the tab on the left or through the user to whom it is assigned. The device view in Control Hub allows me to manage my device, including assignment of user devices, primary and secondary line assignment, executive assistant, monitoring and busy lamp field, and other device features. From the administrative view of the devices, I'm going to see a status of what devices are online and which ones are offline. I'll also have the capability to restart each device. Now that I've set up my users and optionally assigned devices, each of the users should have received a welcome email. Let's take a look at that email received by John Doe, the first user I've entered in my user onboarding list. In John's Webex email, the welcome message includes get started links to set his voicemail PIN, as well as to download his calling client. From the link in the email, John is directed to settings.webex.com, an extension of Control Hub specific to the end user. Here, he can update his password and his voicemail PIN. John also has the download link to the unified client. Now that we have users from Acme Electronics actively using Webex services, I can see specific call, meetings, and team information in the Control Hub Analytics screen. The service assurance information for Webex calling is provided as part of the overall Control Hub Analytics framework. As shown here, Control Hub Analytics covers the overall suite of Webex services: meetings, messaging, calling, devices, hybrid services, and more. Let's focus on calling analytics. Here, the administrator is provided reports on engagement and quality. He or she can use that to evaluate how many calls people are making and get an idea of the audio quality of these calls. They are also able to interact with the reports to focus on specific aspects that are of interest. The Quality tab provides a graph summarizing good versus those above threshold, where the thresholds of latency, jitter, and packet loss can be adjusted based on the administrator's preferences, as shown in the table below. For example, we can see John Doe's calling and messaging information below. We will overview Meetings Analytics next. These reports provide administrators with details on who is using Cisco Webex meetings, regardless of whether it's a personal room meeting or a standard scheduled Webex meeting. They would be able to track the time users are spending in meetings, the quality of experience during those meetings, and what type of audio, for example, PSTN call-in, callback, or voice over IP, is utilized to join meetings. Cisco TAC is always available to assist when needed. However, there is also a need for tools that provide real-time and recent meeting session visibility into user experience and any issues that may have encountered. That is one of the main purposes of surfacing troubleshooting information in Control Hub. It helps administrators determine the root cause of meeting-related issues faced by their users, in real time where needed. The Diagnostics section allows a further drill down into specific messages that are in progress, live meetings, or meetings that have occurred within the last 21 days. This tool allows a search for meetings by meeting number, the email address of the host or participants, the conference ID, or the name of cloud-registered device used to join a meeting. The administrator can then drill down into participant details, video quality, audio quality, CPU utilization as reported by their clients, and more. The Webex Control Hub is truly a single pane of glass for managing the entire Webex portfolio, from the ability to quickly set up new calling users, to viewing rich metrics about meeting adoption and to see what types of calling or audio users employ to join the meetings.